All right. Welcome. Welcome to Jeremiah Gunn Show. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Can't thank you enough. You can thank me later. Or not. Anyway, let's see. This is Jeremiah Gunn Show. I'm Jeremiah Gunn, Professor Gunn. Trigger warning, you're at the Gunn Show. This program's dedicated to Charlie Kirk. Greetings to you of Earth. You of Earth, but America first. I want to talk to you. I need to talk to you. You need to talk to me. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your questions. Question authority. Ask me anything. This program's dedicated to Charlie Kirk, the prophet, greatest American of our lifetime. That bothers you? Let me know why. I've just got one request. Come, let us reason together. Let's talk about it. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. One of which is this discourse regime that we are tangled in, embroiled in, where there's rules for speech. There's rules for the way we are allowed to talk. What we're allowed to say to each other, way we say it, why we say it. Anyway, let's get started. You're listening to CSN, the Common Sense Network, in honor of the book Common Sense that birthed the greatest civilization in the history of woman. That one little book, the pen is indeed mightier than the sword. It started the revolution that shot heard around the world, that created the greatest country in the history of civilization. Go ahead and argue. Just prove me wrong. That's all I'm asking. All of the world is watching America. All of America is watching TV. Okay, so I'm your answer man. I'm your dad help. I got your six. I care about you. I will always speak the truth in love. I have no dog in the fight except to get to the truth. If you're a hater, let's talk. Come, let us reason together. And now this important announcement. The long sobs of violins of autumn wound my heart with a languor monotonous. The long sobs of violins of autumn wound my heart with a languor monotonous. That's Resistance Radio, preaching to you brave few that are part of the resistance from a undisclosed location behind enemy lines here in the People's Republic in the Confederate States of America. Lincoln supporter, proud conservative. I think, therefore, I am a conservative. So let me know what you think. Where to start? Okay. So I think where we left off, this podcast is intended to be, different. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. U.S., we the people, the United States of America. I want your comments and questions. And but first, let's get things in order. Let's do things properly and in order. We are going to start with, since it's still February, we're going to start with the Black National Anthem.
Self success, be nobleness, and every gain divine. And you know, when I was in school, we used to sing it something like this. Listen here.
Now, the title of that album is called True Genius. Absolutely. And as an African American, I can't tell you what that means to me, to have that hero, that great icon, that national treasure, to sing that song in that way. How beautiful. How beautiful. What does it say? Nobleness and every gain divine. Till all success is nobleness and every gain divine. And Martin Luther King said, you never have the right to do what's wrong. You never have the right to do what's wrong. He also said, I used to put this quote on my door at work every Martin Luther King Day that I took off. I would leave it on the door, leave the door shut, and it said, we may have come in different ships. We may have all come in different ships, but we're in the same boat now. We are in the same boat now, whether you like it or not, and it is taking on water. I hope that didn't come as a shock to you, but we're in the middle of a civil war. And, let's talk about great minds. Great minds discuss. What is this show about? I've listened to every show that's out there since the late 1900s. I can tell you, I can tell you if you like this sort of kind of thing, I can be your search engine. I can tell you what you're going to hear from that person. But I haven't heard anybody yet who could tell me and tell you where it is that they're right, where it is that they're wrong. Okay? So this is not about right versus left. It's not about conservative versus liberal. That's like a game of telephone. People say, oh, liberals this. Oh, liberals this.
Oh, conservatives that.
Well, they, them, blah, blah, blah. This is, those words, I don't think those words mean what you think they do. They don't. Bill Maher will tell you he's an old school liberal or whatever. But, being on the left, it has a meaning. But it's still not right versus left. It's right versus wrong. It's right versus wrong. The Civil War wasn't over a compass. It wasn't North and South. It wasn't about white against the black. I mean, you can't boil this stuff down that simply. There was a magnificent movie made called Gettysburg. I think Ted Turner made it, intended for television, his network, but then he released it in the theater. We saw it in the theater. And this is a brilliant soliloquy by this sergeant who is Irish in the Republican Union Army. And he says, anybody that judges a whole race by one person is a peewit. PW, peewit. So that's just kind of a fact. But, North and South, that was the least important issue of the Civil War. It was Democrats versus Republicans. But it was right versus wrong, period. It wasn't right about, anyway, let's go on. So how does this work? Let me tell you how my mind works. I've been studying for 70 years. I've been studying life. And, I think about an idea. I really study it. I roll it around, ruminate, and I come up with an analogy to kind of describe what the problem is and what's going on. And I find out somebody else already diagnosed it and described it brilliantly. Some brilliant luminary like Edmund Burke, Frederick Bastiat, or better. Maybe it's one of those scholars those philosophers that we get confused. But I want to think in terms of real history, not hysteria. We don't have real history today. We have hysteria, and we have her story, and we have a lot of nonsense, a lot of lies. There's a particular Marxist trick that goes back to Lenin and the Soviet Union under Stalin. They like to lie and twist things around. As Orwell said, in times of universal deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act, and it's the first duty of intelligent men. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tell the truth. We're going to talk about facts. Think about the idea of a fact checker. You heard that? You're tired of it? I was tired of it about a week after they came up with it because it was pure Orwellian nonsense. The Ministry of Truth, like Goebbels. Yeah, kind of been there, done that. Give me a break. Okay? So we're going to talk about great minds talk about an idea. Average minds talk about events, and small minds talk about people. Okay? So if we talk about people, it will be in the context of ideas. For example, if we're talking about an event that includes people, like let's say the Super Bowl, and let's say one of the players who turns his back on the flag during the national anthem, or the halftime show and Bad Bunny and how the crowd reacted to that. We're talking about the idea. We're not talking about the person. It's not ad hominem. It's about the ideas represented by those people. You know, if I talk to you about Lenin, if we talk together about Lenin, Stalin, Pol Pot, Kim Jong-un, you know, this isn't, we're not talking about their hairdo, although there's a lot of material there. But man, how'd you like to be Kim Jong-un's barber? Man, his hands are shaking as he's cutting. He's got to be, unless the guy's blind and he's doing it as a favor to him. But I am your honest search engine. I'm your life librarian, your libertarian life librarian. I'm not your life coach. They have them out there. I'm your nag. I'm your nightmare avoidance guide. So anyway, so let's talk about a really important principle as we think about the. I don't want to tell you how to think. I don't want to tell you what to think. I just want to make sure that we're thinking. You know, there's a great philosopher of this era named Dennis Prager, and he wrote a book long ago called Think a Second Time. And I had a brilliant CFO, chief legal counsel, who taught, you know, think a third time and a fourth time. You know, really think about it. Don't just go with your first or second. So we're going to talk about this. Think it through. How to think. So I'd like you to think about a principle of a window, a door, and a floor. So there's a problem. There's a problem statement, whether it's sociological, maybe it's engineering, but probably a social engineering problem. You know, somebody said that the chief cause of problems is solutions. So think about, we're talking about something, let's say teachers or a school system. And we hold up a picture that represents the three elements of the problem. And let's just say, it's a silly analogy, but it's all I got. A window, a door, and a floor. What happens, it's kind of the 80-20 rule of sociology. One portion of the people are going to be, the majority, are going to be talking about the window, and the other half is going to be talking about, or minor half is going to be talking about the door. In reality, it's the floor. So, you know, if you say, well, you know, I walked by years ago, a check stand, and they had magazines there, ragazines. And it was either Time or Newsweek, and it said, how to fix our schools, fire bad teachers. So, you know, a school is, maybe it's a triangle. I kind of think it's a picture frame where you have you have the PTA, you have the administration, you have which includes the kind of Board of Education, you have the parents, and you have the students, the pupils. The thing don't work unless you have all of those. You don't have a school. So to look at the one side of that picture frame, one side of that triangle and go, well, that's your problem. It's the teachers. I mean, how could you? Yeah, I have a lot of great love and admiration for teachers. I have a lot of righteous indignation and passion against them for what they've done to us and what they've let other people do to them. But I kind of came up with this bumper sticker blaming. I've got family and very close family all over the place that are teachers and retired teachers and PhD teachers and all this stuff. But I came up with this bumper sticker idea. Well, the problem is fire bad teachers. Really? The bumper sticker idea was something to the effect of blaming teachers for test scores is like blaming police for crime. Now, if those teachers are in a union and the union is telling them to, here's how we fix the fact that people aren't getting an education. Let's, we've thrown money after it for decades. Doesn't work. It's kind of inversely proportional. Let's fire the teachers. Really? Okay, no, they're not going to say that. The teachers union are going to say that. They say two things. One, let's lower the requirements. Let's lower the bar so that we can infantilize entire groups of people and races. And then we'll call anybody a racist who has a problem with that. Okay? Let's pretend that a certain group of the population of the community just can't learn English. So we'll just kind of push them through. Or we'll spend a fortune trying to get teachers that can speak that particular language. Of all the languages that came here, just that one. And then we'll lower the bar so that, forget GATE program. We're going to dumb down and say there are no wrong answers. Everybody wins. Okay? So I don't want to get into, what is that called? Oh, shoot. What's that called? That kind of learning, forget it. It was one of the fads. Wall Street Journal used to be a really great paper. It used to be the best paper, but it used to be at least decent. And it had a great editorial section and a great human interest column front page of it. So it was talking about California schools back in the late 1900s, and it said, in the land of fads, test scores suffer. So, here's the teachers. We're gonna look at that window, door, and floor. So let's just say teachers, administration, and students. And for the sake of this argument, we'll go with a fourth layer, and we're going to say it's really the teacher's fault. Please, that's just not right. That's not fair. We spend a lot more on administration. Let me tell you just a real quick story. I was taking a class on software for architecture. The guy sitting next to me was with a firm that builds a lot of government buildings. And he was telling me about an 18-story building in L.A., Los Angeles School District. It had 18 floors of people making six figures, never set foot in a classroom. So when I talk to teachers at Thanksgiving, barbecues, friends, neighbors, YMCA, whatever, I talk to teachers. I ask them. I was a volunteer coach for seven years at the high school level and 17 overall working with youth. Maybe more like 18, 19. Anyway, is your problem teachers in burnout and getting their job done and being successful? Is it the fact that you don't have enough administrators making stuff up and breathing down your neck? Is it the parents who don't really care about their kids' education and just want them to get an A and get in your face about it? Is it the students who are being distracted, having their attention span destroyed, having their we saw that coming years ago, right? And we're just supposed to just say, well, kind of doesn't matter. You can't just change everything and try to hold one thing constant. And what about the level of respect they have? What about the what about the position of honor that a teacher once held, and now all they seem to care about is grades and maybe politics? There's some absolutely fantastic movies I can point you to about the charter school movement. Supposedly, when Obama watched one of them, he cried. Okay, that's sweet. That's nice. Did absolutely nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. So let's talk about the takeover of that wing of our society, education. So, again, window, door, and floor. You're talking about the window all day long. You can argue, shouting at each other about the door. It's really the door. And ultimately, it's the floor. So you got to think about the foundation. You got to think about what's really going on here. So anyway, that's where we'll pick it up next time. Thank you for listening. Give me your comments. I want to respond to you. Call in. Argue with me. Tell me where I'm wrong. You'll be doing me a favor. Anyway, thank you. Take care. Till next time, go in peace, truth, and love. Impossible without love, without truth. No justice, no peace. Take care till next time. Be good.